Has anyone else noticed that it seems like there are no more heroes anymore? Who are the characters that we're supposed to venerate as the heroes of our modern day? And even when we look back across history, who are we supposed to look to venerate as someone of aspiration or inspiration or a heroic ideal? We have all these characters throughout history like Alexander the Great, Napoleon, Teddy Roosevelt, George Washington, but it seems as time goes on and the more you study into these characters, they might have been more flawed than you thought. They weren't perfect. In fact, many of them were deeply flawed and potentially actually the villains of history. So how do you assess whether they were a good guy, a bad guy? Can we take things from the villains and heroes of history? This is a question that I posed to Nolan in the most recent episode of the podcast that I just released. We go into the conversation of taking lessons from both the villains and heroes of history, where he personally draws the line as far as who he studies and discusses on his own podcast, The Art and Science of Becoming Sovereign. We go into his personal story, entrepreneurship, heartbreak, studying history, mythology, preparing for fatherhood, family virtues, and much, much more. It was a super engaging conversation. I'm appreciative to Nolan for coming on, and I hope you guys enjoy. You can check it out now on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, any podcast player that's out there. Comment below this what you think about studying the heroes and villains of history, and also make sure to give a shout out to Nolan, shoot him a follow, and check out the podcast in full and let me know your thoughts. Once again, thank you to Nolan for coming on the show, and I hope you guys enjoy.